everyone, this is Danny. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be painting an Easter cross with a beautiful sunset behind it. Now, let's get started. I'm starting out with a 9 by 12 inch canvas. I'm marking out where the little bit of the land is going to be. It's about the third of a way down your canvas or up your canvas. This mixture here is a little bit of brown, red, yellow, and white. No fancy brush strokes here, just back and forth, blending in those colors, getting lighter as you go down the canvas. I'm using a 3/4 inch bristle brush, adding a little bit of yellow where the sun will be brighter. A little more yellow. Blend that right in. Now I'm using a dabbing brush stroke here and just dabbing in some green oxide with a little bit of yellow and pushing my brush upwards there to make little grasses, and so there's not such a harsh line. Tiny bit of black closer to the bottom and brown mixed in with the green oxide. Now I'm going in for a second layer, doing the exact same thing. That color is pretty much burnt sienna, mixed in with a little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, working my way down the canvas. You want to make sure that you let your canvas dry for the second layer. A little more white going down the canvas. Back and forth. I wish I could really paint that fast. That would be amazing. If you saw this in real time, you would see how slow I'm actually going. It's not very fast at all. A little bit of yellow down at the bottom, so it looks like the sun is really setting and beautiful and bright. A little more white mixed in there. And then I let that dry and I go in with a little bit of yellow afterwards to really brighten it up. Now I'm doing that second layer of the exact same thing on those grasses on the hill. You want it more yellow towards the right at the bottom. That's where the sun is setting and where it would be the brightest. I let that dry and then I added more yellow. I just forgot to record it. Now I'm just sketching out my cross. I'm literally just making a T to start. Okay, so just nice. I should have used chalk here and I didn't really realize that you can't see it too well on the camera, but I'm just making a cross. And then I sketch around it to make it nice and thick. It's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, the cross. Very simple shape, easy peasy, nothing to it. Now this mixture is a gray, it's white, a little bit of black, and brown. Just paint that in. I'm using a flat brush here. Very simple. It is longer on the right side because of perspective. You're gonna see the underside and it's kind of turned the cross a little bit. So it is longer on the right side. I'm using a fan brush here with a little bit of black and green on it, green oxide, just to start the grasses. Black for dimension and depth. Now I'm going to just black on a small a number 2 flat brush, making a rock, very like a blob. It's literally a blob of black. Very simple. Couple of rocks there. Some more grasses with that fan brush. I'm using the fan brush just to make it a little quicker, so I'm not doing one blade at a time just yet. put that gray mixture from the rock with a little bit of white, or from the cross, I'm sorry, the gray mixture from the cross that I used on a small flat brush, and just using that for the rock. And with a little bit of white. Rocks are so much fun to paint. Just go down one side, literally you can make any marks on a rock, and they're so easy and so much fun to paint. Just make sure you leave a little bit of black on there. Making sure my cross was dry. Now I'm going in with a small flat brush and just marking out the side of the cross and the bottom side there. That line is going to be the bottom underside of the cross. And it really doesn't have to be perfect. It's old wood, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Just making some lines, like the lines in the wood. Now I'm dry brushing some black on there. Very, very little bit of paint with a very dry brush, and just going over it very lightly with some, I think it was a little bit of brown, burnt umber, brown, and black. Very little bit. Doing the same thing, a little bit of gray on my brush there, the base gray, and brown. Now I'm putting in some wood tones. That looks like the sky color I'm using there. A little bit of that burnt sienna color. Just putting those tones in there with a dry brush. Once again, very little bit of paint. You don't need a lot. A little bit more of that burnt sienna color underneath. Dry brushing that on. A little bit more so we could see it. Very light brush strokes. Now I'm lightening up the right side with a little bit of that base gray and very little bit of white. You want the light on the right side because that's where the sun is setting, so you want it lighter on the right and darker on the left. Lighten that up. I'm gonna go over that with some brown right here just so we can see the brown a little bit better. Letting that dry and finishing up the rocks here. A little bit of gray and white, a little bit lighter than the first one. Adding a little darker so they look like different textures in the rocks. A little more white and gray. A little bit of yellow in there. The sun is reflecting. Now I'm putting some shadows under that side of the cross. Darken up the left side again. Darken up underneath. Dry brush. With a little bit of black. Again, this does not have to be perfect. It is old wood. Going in with some more browns. Looks like some burnt sienna with a little bit of burnt umber in it, mixed in. Dry brushing that on there. Number 2 round, just making some more lines in the wood, like the grain of the wood. Just back and forth very lightly, little bit of water. Just up and down. Now highlighting the right side. A little bit of white, a little bit of yellow, some highlighting beside those lines that I made, up and down, back and forth. The grains of the wood. Same thing up there. You want to brighten up that right side. Again, that's where the sun is. A little bit of white, a little bit of brown on my brush. That number 2 round. I'm lightening up underneath. It was a little too dark, so I lightened up the underneath. It may take a few times of layering until you get it the way you want it, but that's the way it is. The more layers, the better. Now going in again with a little bit of black to darken it up again. A little more, looks like the base color gray there. A little bit of yellow and white to highlight that right side of the cross. Really make it look like that sun is reflecting. A little more brown to darken up the left side. Now it's starting to really take shape to look like an old round piece of wood. Lighten up that right side. I let that dry. And now I'm starting on those grasses, more single pieces here. I'm using a long liner brush, a little bit of black, a little bit of water, a little bit of green, Oxide, and just making some single pieces now around the rocks so you can't see the bottom edge. A little more black, a little more green. Going in with a fan brush again just to fill it in a little quicker. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of green oxide, a little bit of white there. It was a little too much, so I go over it after. It was a little too white. Let that dry, go back to the cross when it's dry, and add a little more white and yellow to the right side. Brighten that up. Very light brush strokes, small bristle brush, very little paint. Really brighten up that side. A little more brown. Put some more brown tones back in there. Some more grasses. Long liner brush, a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow. There's going to be some wildflowers down there, so I wanted to make sure to get some good long pieces of grass, blades of grass. I go in here and I put some more grasses in the more like right in the foreground with some green oxide, and the left bottom hand corner was looking a little empty to me, so I add a rock in there to fill it in, and it really worked out well. Some light pieces of grass there on the right hand side. Green. Pieces of grass. I'm going in and making some more grain lines. Make it look really old and weathered. A few more highlights on the top. Now I'm going in with a very small flat brush with just Dioxazine Purple. think that's the name. I sure hope so. I'm just making little dots, little gray dots here. They're going to be white flowers there. Some purple, some yellow flowers, just little dots, straight yellow, gray, and purple flowers. Can't really see that yellow one on the yellow, but you will later. A lighter purple here, dot, 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 literally just dots. A lighter purple here, dot, dot, dot. The flowers aren't the focus, so I didn't want to spend too much time, so just dotting them in. A little lighter gray on those gray ones for the white. Some white on the yellow ones. Now you can see that one there. Some centers with a little bit of brown, tiny bit of black. Some white on the gray flowers so they really pop. The number 2 brush, or whatever you have, small round. Dot, dot, dot. Beautiful Easter colors, purple and yellows. So you can see the bottom right hand corner right here, it just was looking it wasn't looking balanced to me. It was bothering my eye. So I go in and I put a rock there and it just really balances out the whole composition. See, I put some more grasses in there and now I go in and just put another blob of black. A little bit of that base gray. White and gray. Very simple, rocks are very simple, just making marks. Just moving the paint around when it's wet. And it really balanced it out. Now I already drew the cloth on. Very simple shapes, nothing to it. Now I'm going in with that dark purple. With a number 6 round brush. Now my cloth here, it doesn't turn out perfect. There are things about it that I should have done, could have done, but I didn't. I noticed things after the painting's done where I should have maybe put shadows here and more highlights here, but I didn't, and that's okay. Paintings don't always turn out the way you think. It turned out great, it's beautiful, but maybe I should have put some more shadows in where on the left-hand side where the cloth is draping down about where I'm working in there, where I should have put in some darker shadows. And that's okay. It's totally fine. It's your painting. Just filling that in. Putting some shadows underneath, a separation from those 2 pieces of cloth, with a little bit of black, a little bit of water. And that purple is called Dioxazine Purple. I had to check just to make sure I got it right. It's very deep, intense purple. It's very pretty. Now I mix some Dioxazine Purple with a little bit of white for a little bit of a lighter color. Sometimes when you're working on a painting, your eyes don't catch certain things until it's done and you think, oh, I should have maybe put a shadow here instead of a highlight, or that shadow's too dark, whatever it is. And you can critique your own painting over and over again until next Tuesday, you know what I mean? But no paintings are perfect. If artists worked on paintings until they were perfect, all of our paintings would still be on easels. There's no such thing as a perfect painting. Going in with a little bit of a lighter purple. See, I'm kind of going over all my dark. And I really honestly just did not realize, but that's okay. You go back in and you put the dark shadows and depth, you put it back in. Let that dry. I'm putting a little shadow on the left hand side on the wood. Figured there would be a shadow there from the cloth. Underneath, looking on the shadow there. Little bit of black, little bit of water. Now I'm going in with some purple, straight purple, tiny bit of black, and putting some shadows back in. And I realized that I took them away. I painted over them. Another shadow here while that dries. Right on the post. Figured there would be shadow there too. Putting some shadows back in there. It's a very light purple now. It's the Dioxazine Purple with a little more white in it. Working on some highlights there. That was looking weird to me, so I go over it and just make it one big highlight. It was looking kind of weird, so I was like, no, I don't like that. Let's just go over it with a little lighter purple and just put a highlight. And I should have, right in there, I should have put a little more dark underneath. But I didn't, and that's okay. Highlighting the top of it. The top there. Very nice lavender color. A little more there and blend it out. Purple here. Blend that out. A little darker. A little lighter on the tips. At the top there, more white and a little bit of purple. Blend that out. A little aggressive. Just trying to blend that out. Just layer after layer. It's a darker, the lighter again, it was getting away from me. So I'm going in with a little darker mid-tone purple. Again, the light just got away from me, so going back in with a mid-tone purple, putting some darkness back in. And there we go, starting to look a little better. Let that dry, and brightening that up. Some brighter pieces. Mid-tone purple in there. Brightening up those highlights. Putting a nice bright one right on the edge there. Looks like a little bit of a glow. Very bright white right in there. And this is pretty much it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this. Hope you try it out. It's super easy, super fun painting. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, thank you. Bye.